I was pondering doing some high energy intro like... Anyways, today we're going to be working on a bunch of random stuff. This is probably over the last 2 or 3 weeks worth of footage, but today, which is the last part of this video, is actually the majority of it. We finally put a muffler on the van. I do explain what's going on with that and why I'm screwing with the muffler, but that's the longest part of the video. Anyways, there's a bunch of stuff. We fixed a few things on the bus, we fixed some more stuff on the van. I don't even remember what all's in here, so welcome to a random video of repairing a bunch of random stuff. Oh, and by the way, this is the GoPro we're using. Turns out it works perfectly. As it turns out, the only problem it had was this Media Mod case. This is an official accessory from GoPro that has a USB-C thing inside there, and it's got 2 microphones and HDMI output and all this stuff. Turns out these are garbage. I've had 3 different ones. They all cause the same issues, but I just took it off the camera and now it works perfectly. So anyways, enough blathering. Enjoy. Okay, well, it wasn't easy, but managed to get the ventilation blower out of here. I'm getting the feeling that there's something wrong with the brushes. I just realized this part needs a wee bit of setup or explanation. Short version is, there's a ventilation blower in this bus that moves air through it, and that stopped working. And I mounted it in a place that was extremely obnoxious to get to. Apparently my function levels have changed such that since I installed that last year, it became exceedingly more difficult to deal with. Anyways, here's what happened. When I send power to this thing, the motor gets a little bit harder to turn, and sometimes it will. So hopefully, I'm out of breath. Hopefully the brushes are just not seated correctly or something, I don't know. I'm gonna pop them out and look. Okay, so managed to get one of the brushes out of there, and it didn't look too bad. I mean, it could use a little bit of cleanup or whatever, but I took the other brush cap off, and that is way down inside there. So I'm gonna see if we can get it out of here with a magnet. Of course it's non-ferrous. Can you see that down in there? I'm pretty sure that means that the brush is completely worn out and it's stuck down in there, or something else is going on. Well, this is when I need my hook and pick set and I don't know where it is. Actually, I guess we could look down inside here and see what the commutator looks like. Oh. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see that, but that definitely needs some cleaning. Well, I'm gonna try and get this out of here. I do have another one of these motors, so in theory we could swap the brushes out, but regardless, we're gonna be swapping this out for a different style blower. This one I had to adapt that rectangle thing to this round hose, but I've ordered a 200 CFM inline HVAC blower, so I'm probably going to mount that up there and then connect the hose right to it, and we won't have to worry about this anymore. Plus, while I did manage to get that out, it was behind the inverter. There was kind of some casualties and scraping going on, so pretty sure that's not going back in. Oh. Yeah, that's a little bit filthy in there. Okay, we used the canned air to pressurize this through and then a knife to pull it out. So let's see what we got here. Oh. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely not much brush left there, but it should be enough to make it work. Maybe the whole thing's just so dirty. Yeah, that could be. I mean, that should probably be replaced. Well, I might pull the brushes out of the other motor I have. Yeah, these have definitely been getting warm. All right, well, I'm gonna see if I can clean this up a bit and go from there. Oh look, we have newish brushes. They're from the other motor that was in there. I should probably take this apart and clean and sand the commutator. I was trying to come up with excuses not to. Yeah, I'm just gonna take it apart. Oh man, I am glad I decided to do that. because look at this thing. Yeah. Once I get this cleaned up, it's going to work so amazing. Why is that one clean? Weird. All right, we got it all cleaned up and put back together, and it's running. We have a bit of brush noise. It kind of had that before, but it's running a lot stronger than it was previously. Regardless, it's not going back in here, so probably gonna wind up using it for a different application, maybe. I'm not really 100% sure why I took the time to repair that motor. And yeah, that clip did make the brush noise sound horrendous. It's just the way the microphones on the camera were, but it doesn't sound nearly that bad in person. Regardless though, I just threw it in one of the luggage bays and it's gonna sit there until I need it for something else. All right, it is a couple days later and now we have this thing. I'm pretty sure it is designed for indoor growing operations, as illustrated there, but it is a 4-inch inline duct blower. Ah, look at that. It's got a little compressor wheel in there, has a housing, 28 watts, 2500 RPM. I think this thing was supposed to be, how many CFM? I think 195 CFM? I don't know, regardless. This thing can actually build up a little bit of pressure as opposed to the old one that was in here. And look, it's got mounting tabs. So all we need to do here is basically stick it up there, connect this hose to it, and boom, we get outside ventilation. Now this bay here has some outside air inlets on the other side on the floor. So effectively pulling air from in here is pulling it from outside and forcing it through the bus. And this is our air conditioning outlet here that dumps into this and down. And then our inlet for the AC also comes from down here. But I haven't got my air conditioner back out here yet. It's starting to get warm and stuff, so anyways. Actually, the AC is back. I'm going to attach this real quick and see what we get. Okay, I decided we should probably plug it in first, so I've got it plugged into the inverter there. I'm not sure how much torque this thing is going to exert, but we'll turn it on and see what happens. Oh, that thing's quiet. Took a minute to spin up, but yeah, that's not bad at all. Let's see here. Yeah, and it actually develops a bit of pressure too. Nice. Sweet. This will get the job done. I'm gonna grab the drill. Actually, I should probably turn this off first. I've got a little zigbee switch here where we're gonna be controlling it with. But yeah, let me grab some tools and this should be quick. And there we go. 3.5 minutes later, it is installed. Seems to be running. We do have a pretty tight bend right here, but since that thing can actually develop some pressure and actually has a good amount of suction, it shouldn't be a problem. I also wanted to have a crap loop, so if something does get dropped into that vent, it's not gonna like make its way down into the fan. So anyways, let's go inside and see how much air we're moving. Oh yeah, that's putting out a lot more air than the old one did. And then let's see if we, yeah, see, it's actually able to force that piece of wood up. The old one was a squirrel cage and it sort of relied on the centripetal forces and the air not being lazy. But yeah, this one that actually has like a compressor housing works a lot better. All right, cool. Having this blower though is super important because this bus is completely sealed off. All the walls are glass, and with the exception of the roof vents, there is no way to get air flowing through here. And like if it's raining or cold outside or something like that, you do occasionally want to have some airflow. Even new construction in a lot of houses, the building codes actually require some sort of outdoor ventilation system. So anyways, that just keeps air moving, and yeah, should be good. Come on, Caravan, why you gotta be like this with an oil change? The cooler's loose. I'm guessing though that bolt goes right up through the middle and holds it on. So in theory, if I can tighten that, maybe we'll be good. But this is not what I want to see, especially when I can't drive to get parts. And It appears to be metal, so that's good, because Chrysler loves using plastic. See if I can find a 1-inch thingamadealy and do something there. After looking around in my inventory, I do not have a 1-inch socket here. So, let's see if this gets us anywhere. Oh. Okay, well there's your problem. I can work with that. Yeah, that was extremely loose. Hopefully the threads aren't messed up in there. That's definitely the kind of thing I like to see. Is, well, there's your problem sort of moment. Anyways, I'm going to put down this camera and see if we can tighten this without galling up these surfaces and stuff. So anyways, I'll be back. So this is an acceptable method of doing things, right? I'm kind of limited to the tools I have on hand, but I think this will work. All right, here we go. It'll be a miracle if we don't have the world's largest oil leak when I fire this thing up, but I think that's all we need to do. I did a little bit of looking around, and that housing there is just held on with a central bolt with a gasket up top. I did not take it all the way off because I don't feel like dumping all the coolant right now, and I don't have any more coolant. And I also don't have a way to capture all that coolant, so we don't, you know, stick it straight into the groundwater here. But yeah, we changed our filter, so I'm gonna fire it up and see what happens, I guess. All right, here goes nothing. Come on, oil pressure. There we go. All right, well, still sounds like a Dodge or Chrysler product with all the rattling, but yeah, we're not leaking. Sweet. Other than all the oil that I spilled smoking, it sounds good. I think after like 15 some odd oil changes and filter changes and running a bunch of cleaners and stuff in here, it's finally starting to sound like a normal engine. Crazy. I mean, still a little bit of valve train noise, but way better than it was. Most of that noise you hear is the fuel injectors. Sweet. All right, this down here was the rolly wheel in question. As you can see, it doesn't quite touch the ramp, and as a result, the ramp rattles a lot. So we're gonna take that nut loose and see if we can adjust this a little bit or something. So it's adjusted out as far as it'll go, and it's not touching the ramp. Were we supposed to be flipped around the other way, maybe? Flipped it around. I'm not quite sure it's supposed to go this way though, because it only folds like this. But when we open the door all the way, it doesn't prevent the door from opening, and that folds up. So when we close it, it seems to just kind of jam in here. It made the door latch sound like it was having some trouble, but if we wiggle the ramp, it's kind of putting pressure on it. So yeah, let's run it automatically and see what happens here. Okay, door open fine. Ramp's going down. We don't care about that, so let's close it up. Yeah, I don't know if that's... This latching mechanism sounds like it's laboring now, but I mean, it doesn't rattle, so I don't know. I'm confused. Well, I think the answer to this conundrum is going to be, I'm going to leave this wrench in here. What even is this, 7/16? I'm going to leave this in here and carry it around with me for a few days and see if it makes any difference. Yeah, I don't know. Once again, this van was totaled when it had like 40,000 miles on it, so I have no idea if it was put together correctly and all that. Should probably clean up all this junk on the back seat at some point, but anyways, that's a problem for future me. Let's get back out of here. Yay, I'm free. All these things I keep remembering. So, remember that little roller wheel right there? So when I got this thing, there were some rubber bumpers behind here, actually. Yeah, you can see one of them right there. Well, there used to also be one right there where that dirt streak is. And you can see there's another one up top. What that did was it spaced the ramp out like this. And I thought that's why it was rattling. So I took it off, and now the ramp goes back. So this little distance right here is what was keeping that roller from coming in contact when it was fully adjusted. Now I flipped it around the other direction, and it's actually been working fine. I'm not getting any more rattling, so I'm just gonna leave it. Because to me, it seems like having the ramp all the way in versus out a little bit is less dumb, maybe? I don't know. Man, this thing looks filthy on camera. I assure you, it's not that bad in person. Well, I mean, the van obviously needs to be washed, but anyways. No, don't go out. Go back in. Now, close the door. It seems to be working fine, so we'll just leave it at that. Next up on the list of things, one of my Zigbee smart plugs soiled itself. I was doing laundry a couple days ago, and I ran the batteries pretty dead, and then, I don't know, things happened. The main power grid surged on and off a couple times in a couple of seconds, which was kind of my fault, but anyways, this thing doesn't work anymore. So, we have replacements. What this controlled is our Victron battery charger here for the inverter batteries. You can see it's grayed out. So I'm gonna get this thing paired up real quick and see if we can get it going. These things appear to be ultrasonically welded or glued together. I tried taking it apart, but I'm just gonna see if I can get a warranty replacement, maybe. That usually takes longer than ordering other ones overnight, so anyways. Wait, which one was the bad one? I think it was this one. So this one? I'll be back. Okay, we've got it added to Home Assistant now, so we can click it and it turns on and off. And because I'm exquisitely lazy, I just use this thing here in my lap, but as I click it, you can see... Oh, weird, the colors are wrong. That's actually purple. Oh, there, you can see it in the reflection. But when I click the switch on and off, you can see it changes. Or you can also press the button. Alright, that'll do. Installation is very complex. All we gotta do, turn this off, unplug this, plug this in, plug that back into this, turn it back on. It'll blink for a second, it's connected, and boom, we're good to go. So what that does is feed the 16 amp 24 volt charger from the grid down to the inverter batteries. That combined with the solar panels up on the roof, which come through right there, basically keeps those batteries topped up and charged. Depending on certain things and certain loads and whatnot, I have to turn that off sometimes. And there's also a couple of automations that will automatically disconnect that if need be. So, yeah, crucial part of the setup. By the way, 2 of those outlets, they came in a 2-pack. I think it was 23 bucks. I'll put a link down below for those if you are interested in Zigbee stuff. I'm pretty sure they work with most of the usual suspects. The Amazon ecosystem, a lot of them have Zigbee hubs. Oh yeah, there we go. AliXA, Google Assistant, IFTTT, and obviously Home Assistant. All right, it is Tuesday, I think. I ordered a new muffler for the van last week sometime. I don't know why, but like, don't buy mufflers on Amazon. Apparently they don't know how to deliver them properly. It was delayed, and I've actually ordered three more sets of items that were delivered same day or next day since I bought this. Anyways, I don't remember if I put it in a video or not, but we were playing around with the exhaust on the blue van, mostly because it was falling off. And about a month ago, a friend was in town, and he was able to, well, actually 2 things were happening. Well, one, the exhaust was falling off the bottom of the van and hanging down super low because wheelchair van. We got that reattached, but in the process found out that the muffler, the mounts on it, had broken and there was no way to reattach it. So we wound up straight piping it. Here's a couple of clips. Okay, so we decided to change the muffler out with this. Go ahead. Yeah. Oh, that's definitely a thing. Just kidding, but seriously. So that one was kind of a joke. I really wanted to leave the exhaust like that, but the fart can noises and the exhaust pointing up in the air, it would just fill with water. So we wound up just cutting that off and making a little turn down. Anyways, all that being said, I'm sitting here looking at the Amazon delivery map, and they're 4 stops away. So hopefully today it gets delivered. The second it is, we're gonna go outside and install that muffler. At least we're going to attempt to. I don't want to jinx it or unjinx it or whatever you do, but like, I'm pretty sure it'll be the right size. I went to a parts store and got a few different clamps and some different turn downs, so I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, I will see you in another 4 stops of the Amazon delivery driver, and we'll see if this is gonna work. Okay, it's a muffler. It does appear as though it was kind of pre-opened in shipping though. But let's see what we got here. Ooh, there we go. I think that should do nicely. So this is a Thrush Turbo, which apparently there is some ambiguity between the Super Turbo and Turbo. This one is, I think, 2 notches down on their obnoxiously loud list. And it is reversible, because I don't know yet where the exhaust is going to be. Anyways, it's finally here. Let's get a cold start on this hoopty to see what it sounds like, just for reference. So this is 100% straight piped. We used EMC electrical conduit from a large industrial solar installation. But luckily the back of this van is, actually let me open the door since I gotta move this thing. Luckily the back of this van is high enough off the ground that I can slither underneath there. So I'm gonna flip this van around so I'm on the uphill side, which will make the back even a little bit higher. And let's see if we can get this thing installed. Well, I should probably do this quick before the exhaust heats up. Okay, we have engaged Parks Like Douchebag mode because we are going to get right underneath here. So let me grab some stuff and we'll get set up to do this. Yeah, something. That's it. Yeah, so this piece of conduit ends right there. And my friend said he just used a clamp, so I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I kind of forgot I stuck all this plywood in here. I've got this big foam thing right here that works great for rolling around on the ground to work on vehicles. Let's see if we can subtly slide this stuff over. Perfect. Get our foam mat here on the ground, and I think we have most of our essential tools. So I'm gonna flop down here and see if this thing is the right size. My friend said it was 2-inch pipe coming off the van, so I ordered 2 1/4. So in theory, math and stuff, let's find out. Yes, recognize the EMC conduit going on here, and I've got some proper hangers. Yeah, this was just kind of a temporary deal to get things going. And you can see our stock pipe back here. Kind of forgot this camera has a built-in tripod, so let's use that. I don't have my D-pole sockets out here with me, so we're just going to try and use a adjustable wrench, and a stubby one at that. No way, he actually slotted the pipe so it clamps on without ruining everything. Let's see. Oh, condensation. I guess we probably need to unhook our clamp back here. Let's see. Assuming that's a flathead of some kind. Yeah, I know, a nut driver would make this significantly easier, but, you know, I got my reasons, most of which involve exquisite efficiency and or laziness. Yeah. Check out this beauty. Custom straight pipe. Slotted, so it makes for easy installation. All right. All right, for the moment of truth, let's see here. Okay, so this comes out right in the middle, which means since this muffler has two offsets, we can use the center one. But the question is, will this thing fit? I can't really see it because, oh man, it's way, way, way too big. Dang it. Wait, was that 2 1/4 inner diameter? Man, I waited a week for this thing. Is there some way we can make this work? Let's see. Ah, that is just way too big. Okay, well, I was half expecting this. Here, let go of that. Here. Okay, well, at least we know our offset in the middle is correct, and this is going to line up perfectly with this little cutout right here. I think what I'm gonna do, since I really want to get this done and I don't want to screw around with stuff, I think I'm going to measure this all properly. Once again, 2 1/4, I don't know, I'll get out the tape measure, but I think we're going to get an adapter. I'm pretty sure I can buy one of those. It won't be the most ideal using clamps. Anytime you're not welding your exhaust, I mean, well, you know, things are gonna happen. So, all right, I guess if we're gonna drive this thing, I should probably put this back on so I don't gas myself out. Actually, this might be a bad idea. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right, I'm gonna grab a tape measure, measure all this up, and then we're gonna go to the auto parts store. All right, we have returned from the auto parts store, and I'm talking with my hands. So, what we needed to do here was basically adapt a 2-inch outside diameter pipe to fit a muffler that was designed to slip over a 2 1/4 inch pipe, but this is pre-flared, so that adapter does not exist. What you do is you go to the auto parts store and you grab your tape measure, which apparently is not in this pile of stuff, but you basically go in there with your tape measure, you rattle around on the shelves for 15 or 20 minutes, and they start wondering what the hell you're doing, and then I leave with this, a 2 1/4 ID to 2 1/4 OD adapter. But I was a little bit more sneaky than that. We have another adapter inside this adapter, and this is a 2-inch connector ID. So if you look around enough and measure enough, you can find 2 adapters that will basically make you a shim. And this whole thing fits right inside here, and now our 2-inch outside diameter pipe can go right through here. This is one of those things that, I don't know, it's a lot of screwing around, but this is gonna fit way better. I mean, look at these tolerances. They're like perfect. This is gonna fit way better than any sort of generic adapter, and potentially have issues with it crushing, because we're basically gonna have 3 layers of tight fitting metal here. So you put any clamping force on this, it's gonna take almost 0 deformation to make that hold in there tight. Now, the only thing I don't know is this exhaust pipe up in here attached to the van probably has a little bit of welding slag on it from where the muffler used to be attached. So a couple things there. We may have to get a little bit aggressive with the persuader here, or we may just have to trim this down, because I know there's about this much space on that pipe that will fit. And seeing as how there's two sections here, we can very easily cut these things down with the reciprocating saw, as illustrated here in this Montebo HPT bag. So I'm going to slide underneath here, see what we can figure out. I got a few more clamps and stuff. Yeah, anyways, I'm gonna see if I can piece this together and then update you in a minute. As we can see here on this pipe, we've got a little bit of a ridge here from where the muffler used to be welded on. So this piece in theory should slip over here fairly tightly, and it does. And then this can go over here. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do here, I'm just gonna pound this on the rest of the way. We're gonna clamp around this, that'll take care of that. This is an extremely tight fit, so that's not gonna leak. And then once we slide this over, we can put our muffler in here, run another clamp here, and once again, that clearance is so perfect that we shouldn't have any issues. Yeah, so let's do that. Okay, that is butted right up against our weld. This still slides over it perfectly. So let's see if we've got a 2-inch clamp here. Oh, also, when you're buying these clamp kits, always open the box before you buy them, because it's highly likely that somewhere along the way one of these nuts fell out. So you always want to make sure those are in there, because if not, you're gonna have a bad time. Oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, we're just gonna leave that on there temporarily. Check our clearance here. Yeah, so as you can see, this is gonna interfere. So we'll probably have to trim this down a little bit. And the end of this is rolled just enough to make a nice seal, so we can't put it on the other way. But yeah, let's see here. We've got approximately to the first line in my finger. We need to trim off the other end here. So let's do that. Okay, now we have a spacer. And that should slide on here thusly. Excellent. Now we'll grab one of our 2 1/4 inch clamps. Just verify that's gonna fit. Oh wait, no, I'm dumb. This, the muffler has to slide on there first, so that's what has to fit. So that's what has to fit. Oh yeah, and that fits perfectly. Excellent. So let's see if yon muffler fits on here and clears everything. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. We got plenty of engagement there. Cool. I'm gonna pull this off with that adapter attached just to eyeball it. And yeah, looks pretty good. Cool. We're gonna get our clamp started on here just because it's easier to do when you can see what you're doing. Now, obviously, clamping from the outside like this is normally just gonna crush that on the inside, but since we got another layer inside there, we should be good. I do have a couple of welders at the warehouse, but they're at the warehouse, and I can't really weld at the warehouse, and to bring them back here, I'd have to bring the generator and do all kinds of stuff. So in the interest of you know, not doing things, we're just gonna roll with clamps, even though there's a rule with using clamps on exhaust, and that is they always leak. But you know, whatever, I guess. Next question, do we want to put another hanger up here? We have one right there, which will probably be good. And then we're going, oh, I should probably test fit the tailpiece I'm going to put on this muffler. Yeah, I think we'll just leave that one hanger back there. You probably can't quite see it, and call that good. And then put another one here on the other end of the muffler. See if we can get our tailpiece sorted out here. I just bought a couple of random ones. And they're for two and a quarter, which probably means, yeah, they're not gonna fit, but if we flip it around, yeah, that kind of fits. Then there's this turn down, which does go in there. Well, it'll take some persuasion. Okay, at least we know these fit. Let's put it back in there. And this will be held up just a little bit, but we need to figure out which one of these is long enough to reach out the back. That one kind of does, but it's a little bit low. So let's try this one. Okay, so this one comes all the way out the back. And once we clamp everything in, we can get it tucked up here. So I think what we're gonna do, I'm gonna rock this one, and I'm just going to cut, actually, is this gonna make it into a giant resonator? It might. I really don't want that. Where's this one land again? Yeah, that's way too low and it looks dumb. Well, I guess I'm just gonna use this one, and then I will cut sort of a, I don't know, something in the end. So it's not just sticking out like this. We may get a bit of a resonation effect from this, but we'll at least get it on here and see how it sounds. Okay, energy levels are getting a little bit low, so I'm just gonna finish this up and then I'll show you guys the end project. I'm working on the rear mount here right now. Cool, I'm gonna finish this up and then, yeah, see what it looks like. I do believe we've reached that magical point where we might be done. I cut a little bit of an angle here. This is sharp as hell though, so I'm gonna have to go back around to the file and clean that up. But it's pretty even with the bumper there. And we've got a clamp holding that up into place, and it's pretty solid. Wound up having to use 3 clamps back there, but there are no leaks. So anyways, yeah, I think this should work nicely. All right, time for the official first start with the complete exhaust system. Oh yeah, that's nice and mellow. Yeah, so as all this stuff warms up, it will definitely get louder. We've got pretty much the perfect gap right here. That's not gonna hit the bumper at all, and we shouldn't get any exhaust swirling back into the van. Although I suppose technically it should come past the bumper, but I don't know. I wanted a little bit of something at least, and I didn't want to be able to scrape my legs on it. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna clean up all my crap here, and then we might go for a drive and see what it sounds like. Okay, it's sitting here running. You can probably barely hear it. So what I like about the thrush mufflers is on idle, they are very quiet. Now, obviously when it breaks in, it is gonna get maybe 50% louder, but they don't make any noise unless you really get on it. So I'm gonna let this sit here for a minute or 3 or 4 or whatever, idle it, let everything warm up, and then I'm gonna go back through and check our clamps and stuff like that. But yeah, for right now, that's perfect. Okay, we've been warming up here for about 10-15 minutes now, and we're starting to get a little bit more noise out of it. But yeah, well, I just checked all the bolts. Everything is good. So we are going to go for a test drive. This thing's a little bit broken. We're gonna go for a test drive and get this good and warmed up. Okay, we went for a little rip. Let's see what it sounds like now. Yeah, probably kind of hard to hear, but let me set the camera down and I'll give you a couple of courtesy revs. And the best part about all this is there's absolutely zero resonation inside the cab. And our engine's still sounding pretty good. A lot of that valve train clatter is gone. Just Just a little tiny bit of it, but nothing like it was previously. All right, cool. I think we're done screwing with stuff for now. Excellent. Ooh, the compressor kicked on. That's a good sign.